The diagram shows a sketch of the curve y equals sine x between 0 and 360. I've been told that the exact value of sine 60 is root 3 over 2. I need to use the information they've given me to write down the exact value of sine 120 and sine 240. The fact that it says write down means I'm not going to do any calculations in particular. It should be pretty simple just to write the answer down if I can figure out what it will be based on the diagram and the information they've given me. So sine 60, so I know 60 is roughly about here on my diagram, and that would mean that the root 3 over 2 is roughly about there. So I've just marked this root 3 over 2 on here when the angle is 60. Sine 120 is roughly here, which would be, looking across from my graph here, that's going to be exactly the same as the root 3 over 2. So sine 120 is root 3 over 2. Sine 240, so let's go to my graph here. 240 is roughly about here. I can see down here it is a negative answer. So looking across, I know that's going to be equal to minus root 3 over 2. I know that for sure because just using the symmetry of this graph, if it's 60 degrees from here, then I know it's also going to be, and I know that it's also 60 degrees from here as well. The difference between 180 and 240 is 60. So therefore, it will be exactly the same in magnitude to the root 3 over 2, but I can see it's negative. Part B, I need to sketch the graph of y equals sine 2x. Well, remember our transformations rules. If the change is inside the bracket or inside the function, like this is inside the function, then it affects the x coordinate and we do the opposite. So you'll see here that we've got the 2 inside the sine, so that's going to affect the x coordinates, and I do the opposite. So I'm going to divide all of the x coordinates by 2. So whereas before, when sine was 90, it equals 1, I will half that, so it will not be 90 anymore, it will now be 45 and 1. Where it was 180, 0 before, this coordinate here, I'll half that and it will now be 90, 0. Where the coordinate was 270 minus 1, I will half that coordinate and get 135. So that will be here, the coordinate 135 minus 1. And then finally, when it was 360, 0, I will half the x coordinate and it will be 180, 0. So this graph here will now look like this. And I'm going to keep that pattern going just to use up the whole of the grid there.